Hello, hello. Hey, Rose. It's so awesome that you're here. Good to see you. Yeah, I'm just slowly making my way into the day. I've been piddling around here. I had a great time last night hanging out with Jenna and some friends. Oh my gosh, we just laughed our freaking heads off. It was so fun. I've been laughing about the shit we were laughing about last night, this morning. Oh shit, right? Oh my gosh, so fun, so good. So yeah, Celtic fables, legends, and folklore. We're going to do some reading or attempt such things and see how it goes. So, yeah, I've been enjoying this. I'll say that this was compiled by John Hickey and Martin Hintz. And there's even pictures. I had so much fun, man. I really did. Okay, so this one is called The Little Green Shamrock of Ireland. There's a dear little plant that grows in our isle. 'Twas St. Patrick himself, sure that said it. And the sun on his labor did smile, and with dew from his eye often wet it. It thrives through the bog, through the brake, through the mireland, and he called it the dear little shamrock of Ireland. The sweet little shamrock, the dear little shamrock, the sweet little green little shamrock of Ireland. By Andrew Cherry. Okay, so then we have a picture here of St. Patrick. Cool. And there's also Saint Columba and Saint. Oh, maybe Brigida. Well, here it is. Is it all in there? Yeah. Hey, Corey! Buddy, you should have come out to the lake house last night. We had so much fun, man. It was so much fun, dude. Oh, man. I don't know. I actually contemplated just doing a live where I just chat because I didn't know if I could read and stuff, but I want to read through this book. I've been so lackadaisical about it, man. But I've been feeling good, so that's good, right? Man, Voynich, yay! Hey, dude, welcome, welcome. Yeah, what's the next story here? That was it. That was it for that little one. Cool, we have another picture too. Castle ruins near the sea in Northern Ireland. Have you seen that picture? Cool. So awesome. So this one's called Longing. Oh, thank you, Voy. Thank you so much. Oh, this is the one that I got because it's like inspired by Trace. It says Feelin' Wild or Feelin' Wild, yeah. Oh shit. I don't know. Whatever. This is what I slept in. Ah, shit. All right, Longing. Oh, the sunshine of old Ireland, when it lies on her woods and on her waters, and gleams through her soft skies, tenderly as the love light in her daughter's gentle eyes. Oh, the brown streams of old Ireland, how they leap from her glens and fill the hollows with wild songs till charmed to sleep by the murmuring bees in meadows where the swallows glance and sweep. Oh, my home there in old Ireland, the old ways we had when I knew only those ways of the one sweet place, ere afar from all I loved and wandered lonely many days. Oh, the springtime in old Ireland or the sea, I can smell our hawthorn brushes in, and it all comes back to me. The sweet air, the old place, the trees, the cows, the thrushes mad with glee. I'm weary for old Ireland once again, to see her fields before me, in sunshine or in rain, and the longing in my heart when it comes o'er me stings like pain. by John Todd Hunter. That's beautiful. Longing. Ooh, this one's called The Earth and Man. Look at this tree. Ooh, a 900-year-old oak. Isn't that amazing? Backwoods, welcome, dude. I'm glad you're here too. So cool. Good vibes. Okay, the earth and man. A little sun, a little rain, a soft wind blowing from the west, and the woods and fields are sweet again, and warm within the mountain's breast. So simple is the earth we tread, so quick with love and life her frame. 10,000 years I've dawned and fled, and still her magic is the same. A little love, a little trust, a soft impulse, a sudden dream, and life is dry as desert dust, is fresher than a mountain stream. So simple is the heart of man, so ready for new hope and joy. 10,000 years since it began, have left it younger than a boy. Ah, that's awesome. By Stopford Augustus Brooke. His first name is Stopford. Stopford. Jenny, good morning, good morning. Stopford Augustus Brooke. Cool. The next one is called The Buried Forests of Erin. There were trees in Tin Canal of the territories, in Erin's ancient yet remembered days, where now to clothe the league of bogland lonely is only heather brown or gorse ablaze. Where rivers go from source to sea unshaded, where shine in desolate moors the scattered lakes, and sedges only, where once were willows, and curlews where were deer in woodland brakes. The spades of peasants of the peat uplifting strike bog black roots of oak or red or fir. And then 'tis known here the primeval forest was murmurous to all winds with leaves astir, where to the sky's blue rim the heath unending lies bare before the honey-scorched bees, or camping hosts once spread the giant branches of oak in autumn sounding like the seas. There was no mountain of our many mountains, there was no voiceful watered purple glen, without its share of scarlet buried ashes, without its nut trees by the river then. Round every dun of every royal chieftain, white apple boughs shook down their blossomy showers, and up to craggy heights, like armies climbing, went pine trees straight as spears and tall as towers. Fallen in Erin are all those leafy forests, the oaks lie buried under bogland mold. Only in legends dim are they remembered, only in ancient books their fame is told. But seers who know of things to come have promised, forests shall rise again where perished these, and of this desolate land it shall be spoken. In Tyrconnell of the territories there are trees. Wow. By Alice Milligan. I like that. Man. I like that. By Alice Milligan. The next one is called Am I Remembered? Am I remembered in Erin? I charge you, speak me true. Has my name a sound, a meaning? In the scenes my boyhood knew? Does the heart of the mother ever recall her exile's name? For to be forgot in Erin and on earth is all the same. O mother, mother Erin, many sons your age hath seen, many gifted, constant lovers, since your mantle first was green. Then how may I hope to cherish the dream that I could be in your crowded memory numbered with that palm crowded company, with that palm crowned company? Hmm. Yet faint and far, my mother, as the hope shines on my sight, I cannot choose but watch it till my eyes have lost their light. For never among your brightest, and never among your best, was heart more true to Erin than beats within my breast. Ooh, I want to. Okay. Yet faint and far, my mother, as the hope shines on my sight, I cannot choose but watch it till my eyes have lost their light. For never among your brightest, and never among your best, was heart more true to Erin than beats within my breast. By Thomas Darcy McGee. I like it. Oh man. Itch. Okay, this one's called The Giant's Story. Oh, back to Finn McCool. And we got a picture here. Kumakesta Pass. That's a cool word. Ring of Kerry, Ireland. Kumakesta Pass. Okay, here we go. Finn McCool was a great giant of a man, and as such, he often had a great temper. Once it happened, so long ago that no one remembers when, that Finn and his neighbor got into a fine argument over who had the prettier view. Each sat on his respective mountain top and disputed for more than a week. Finn would argue, "How can anything compare with this scenery? I can see the valleys stretching before me, wide and green, and the mountains rising up behind me each and every morning." His neighbor would sneer back, "Mountains and trees and grass. You call that a pretty scene? Look at mine. I don't just have the hills and valleys to look at, but I have rivers and lakes, and the ocean itself washes up against my land. Land never changes, but the water gives me something new to admire each and every day." Now try as he might, and he tried for 6 days and nights, Finn could not think up an argument to counter his neighbor. It was true. Finn looked out every day and saw the same mountains and same trees and same grass growing dumbly. When Finn sneaked a peek at his neighbor's land, he saw the river calm once and then roaring after a storm, the lake deep and dark and then sparkling in the sun, and the ocean, well, the majestic blue water almost broke Finn's heart. Finn became furious, thinking his neighbor was right. So he flew into a rage and rushed into the adjoining land. He took up a great handful of earth and flung it into the sea, where it landed and became the Isle of Man in the Irish Sea. And as to the hollow Finn had dug, that began to fill with water where the earth had sprung a leak. Soon, Lock is Lach maybe, but soon Lao Na, oh no, it's Neagh. Soon Lao Na, the largest lake in Ireland, oh no, I should know how to say it, balls, was formed. The largest lake in Ireland was formed. Finn was pleased with himself because now he had his own body of water to gaze upon. AF, hey, welcome. Awesome, good morning. Afternoon just about, right? The little black rose. This is a little one. Okay. The little black rose shall be red at last. What made it black but the March wind dry? And the tear of the widow that fell on it fast? It shall redden the hills when June is nigh. The silk of the keen shall rest at last. what drove her forth by the dragonfly. In the golden vale she shall feed full fast, with her mild gold horn and her slow dark eye. The wounded wood dove lies dead at last. The pine, long bleeding, it shall not die. This song is secret, mine ear it passed, in the wind or the plains of Athenry. This song is secret, mine ear it passed. I love that. By Sir Aubrey T. de Vere. Group hugs! Yes! Yes, yes, yes. So this says, what will you do, love? That's what it's called. What will you do, love, when I am going, with white sail flowing, the seas beyond? What will you do, love, when the waves divide us, and friends may chide us for being fond? Though waves divide us, and friends be chiding, in faith abiding, I'll sure be true. And I'll pray for thee on the stormy ocean in deep devotion. That's what I'll do. What would you do, love, is if distant tidings, thy fond confidings, should undermine, and I, abiding neath sultry skies, should think other eyes were bright as thine? Oh, name it not, thou guilt and shame, were on thy name, I'd still be true. But that heart of thine, should another share it, I could not bear it. What would I do? What would you do, love, when home returning, with hopes high burning, with wealth for you, if my bark, which bountled o'er foreign foam, should be lost near home? Ah, what would you do? So thou wert spared, I'd bless the morrow, in want and sorrow, that left me you, and I'd welcome thee from the wasting billow, this heart thy pillow. That's what I'd do. Ah, his last name's Lover. By Samuel Lover. That was beautiful. That one word too. Alien Believers, dude, welcome. Awesome, awesome. Bountled. Bontled. If my bark, which bountled o'er foreign foam, should be lost near home, ah, what would you do? So thou wert spared, I'd bless the morrow, in want and sorrow, that left me you. And I'd welcome thee from the wasting billow, this heart thy pillow. That's what I'd do. I don't know. Did I show you guys this picture? No. Slayhood, Dingle Peninsula, County Kerry. Woo! Stunning. That one flowed. Samuel Lover. Okay. Ooh. Tale of the Fourleafed Shamrock. Ay. I just kicked my computer. Okay. Oh my gosh. I don't know why I just had like the urge to show you guys. I don't know if you're my sister hand painted my nails. All right, maybe like this. Ah! Under a black light, they fucking pop. Okay. Oh man. All right, you can't. How do I show you like this? Eyes. Oh my gosh. And then she put gems on these ones. Look at that. They're like chains and goopy. Oh my gosh. She did this with her hands and a paintbrush. We're gonna do a photo shoot today. Son of a gun. Oh, thank you, Rose. Thank you. Yeah, that was lovely, right? Thank you, Samuel Lover. All right. I don't know why Tale of the Four-Layered Shamrock made me think of my awesome nails. Like, You know, I've never been a nail girl. This is the first year, and I love them. I freaking love them. Okay. All right. Many years ago, a magician arrived in the village of Dingle. He performed many tricks, such as eating a dozen blades of straw and then pulling a ribbon from his throat. But his best act was to harness a little gamecock to a great log. What's a gamecock? But his best act was to harness a little gamecock to a great log of wood and have the poor creature haul it about. Oh, so it's like a game bird, maybe? That's cruel. Well, should we look it up? Do you guys know what a gamecock is? Why does that seem so funny? Oh, because I'm immature, I think. Okay. Oh shit, I think I started blushing. Okay. Okay. Now, men, women, and children would break their own bones running to see the cock, for such was the smallness of the bird in contrast to the great weight of the timber. Ah, this is cruel. All right. One day, when the magician was driving the cock on a road outside the village, he met a man with a bundle of fresh grass on his back. I'm 2 years old. I don't know what's wrong with me. I'm actually 38, but damn it, dude. Okay. The man was astonished to see the crowds running after the cock, for all he saw was the small bird easily dragging a single piece of straw behind him. When he pointed this out to the people, they laughed at him. "You fool," said the people. "Don't you see the cock drawing a great log of timber that it would fail any horse to draw?" "Indeed, I do not," said the man. "I see a cock pulling a little piece of straw, just as I've seen many a time at my own home." Now the magician was listening close by, for indeed the cock was only pulling a piece of straw, and he did not want this trick found out. He thought there must be something in the bundle of grass the man had on his back that caused his sight to be made clear. So he went to the man and asked, "How much will you take for that bundle on your back, good fellow?" The man didn't wish to sell the grass, but when the magician offered 20 pence for just grass, he had to make the bargain. The magician gave the bundle to his assistant and told him to throw it in the river when no one was looking. Now, as soon as the boy did this, and the bundle went down with the current, the man became as big a fool as any in the crowd. He ran with the other people to see the bird hauling the wood. Later that day, after the man returned home, he told his wife how at first he thought the cock was only dragging a piece of straw, but then, after selling his bundle of grass, he could see that it was actually a great log of wood. "Oh, you fool," said his wife. "There must have been a four-leafed shamrock hidden in your grass. While you had the shamrock, every enchantment and devilment was kept from you. Now that you've parted with it, it's plain to see that you are as big a fool as the others." "But at least I've got my money," said the man, digging into his pants pockets. But all he came out with were 20 ordinary three-leafed shamrocks, not even good enough to feed the pigs. Then he knew that his wife's words were true, and he really was a fool. Dude, I didn't even comprehend that story because I had to say cock so many times. Such a dork. I was like trying to compose myself, so like I was more concentrating on keeping myself composed than listening and understanding. Such a dork. Oh, Judas. Okay. Okay. The Shannon. All right. Oh, here's a picture. Limerick on the River Shannon. Ooh. Can I get it closer for you? So good. Okay, the Shamrock. River of billows, to whose mighty heart the tide wave rushes of the Atlantic Sea. River of quiet depths by cultured lea. Romantic wood, or city's crowded mart. River of old poetic founts, which start. Founts. From their lone mountain cradles, wild and free, nursed with the fawns, lulled by the woodlark's glee. And Chushat's hymnal song apart. Is that how you spell hymnal? Okay, wait. From the lone mountain cradles, wild and free, nursed with the fawns, lulled by the woodlark's glee. And Cushat's hymnal song, river of chieftains, whose baronial halls, like veteran warders, watch each wave-worn steep, Portumna's towers, Bunratty's royal walls, Carrick's stern rock, the Geraldines grew kept. River of dark mementos, must I close my lips with limericks wrong, with Agrimi's woes? Well, the end. By Sir Aubrey T. de Vere. I crushed that. I didn't understand. There's so many words in there I didn't understand. And names. Okay, wait. A river of billows, to whose mighty heart the tide wave rushes of the Atlantic Sea. River of quiet depths by cultured lea. LEA. Romantic wood, or city's crowded mart. River of old poetic founts which start. From their lone mountain cradles, wild and free, nursed with the fawns, lulled by the woodlark's glee. And Cushat's hymnal song, river of chieftains, whose baronial halls, like veteran warders, watch each wave-worn steep. Portumna's towers, Bunratty's royal walls, Carrick's stern rock, the Geraldines grew keep. River of dark mementos, must I close my lips with limericks wrong, with Ogrim's woes? It's a question. Must I close my lips with limericks wrong, with Ogrim's woes? What is he talking about? I don't know. I don't know what he's talking about. What do you guys think he's talking about? What does he mean? I mean, so I think he's like, what is he comparing the difference between the awesomeness of the town and land and the sea and the land? But then, like veteran warders, watch each wave-worn steep. Portumna's towers, Bunratty's royal walls. Carrick's stern rock, the Geraldines grew keep. What does that mean? Anybody? Anybody? I don't get it. I don't understand. My lips with Limerick's wrong. So wait, Limerick is this castle? Limerick on the River Shannon. With Limerick's wrong? I don't know. With Augustus, Aughrims. Aughrims. Aughrims woes. Okay, I'm moving on. Okay. A river and a miracle. When St. Patrick first came to Dublin, the daughter of the local king had just drowned in the river that divided the village in half. The king told St. Patrick that he would become a Christian if the holy man restored his daughter to life. St. Patrick prayed over the river, and the princess lived. Her name was Leaf, and the river was thereafter called Leaf's River, or as it is now known, the Liffey. Huh, cool. That was that little story, little tale. An ancient place. The name of County Wicklow is taken from the ancient Norse word Vikingalo, which means Viking meadow. Ooh, Wicklow. Vikingalo. Wicklow is also nicknamed the Garden of Ireland because of its flower-festooned landscape, irrigated by rivers and lakes. The town of Wicklow itself was founded by the Vikings in the 9th century, although there was a church on the site as early as AD 430. Cool, an ancient place. Little blurb. Okay, the next one is A Nation Once Again, Ireland's unofficial anthem. When boyhood's fire was in my blood, I read of ancient freemen, for Greece and Rome who bravely stood, 300 men and 3 men. 33. 333. 303. Wait. 303. Sorry. And then I prayed I yet might see our fetters rent in twain, and Ireland long a province be, a nation once again. And from that time, through wildest woe, that hope has shone a far light. Nor could love's brightest summer glow outshine that solemn starlight. It seemed to watch above my head, in a forum, field, and fane. Its angel voice sang round me bed, a nation once again. It whispered too that freedom's ark and service high and holy would be profaned by feelings dark and passions vain or lowly. For freedom comes from God's right hand and needs a godly train, and righteous men must make our land a nation once again. So as I grew from boy to man, I bent me to that bidding, my spirit of each selfish plan and cruel passion ridding. For thus I hoped some day to aid. Oh, can such hope be vain? When my dear country shall be made a nation once again. Oh my gosh, that hit me. By Thomas Osborne Davis. He's talking about making the moves, doing it himself. I freaking love that. And then it says here too, reference to the 300 Greeks. That's what I thought too. That's what I was thinking. The 300 Greeks who died at Thermopylae, and the 3 Romans who protected the Sublician Bridge. Sublician Bridge. Yeah, so that's cool. I love that. Okay, Irish blessing, cool. This picture says a view over Kenmare from Tim Healy Pass. Ooh, I have some friends that are Healys. Okay. How sweetly lies old Ireland, emerald green beyond the foam, awakening sweet memories, calling the heart back home. Oh, that was it. That was the blessing. It's beautiful. I'm gonna read it again. I was expecting more. I'm not trying to that was enough. I didn't realize. Okay. How sweetly lies old Ireland, emerald green beyond the foam, awakening sweet memories, calling the heart back home. Ooh, it's good, right? Yeah. Chapter 4, a bit of sport. And we've got this picture. May you be blessed with the strength of heaven, the light of the sun, and the radiance of the moon, the splendor of fire, the speed of lightning, the swiftness of wind, the depth of the sea, the stability of earth, and the primness of rock. Woo! I love this. I'm gonna have to take a picture of this. From Patrick's breastplate, attributed to Saint Patrick. What? This is attributed to Saint Patrick? Moon, fire. Yeah, okay. Interesting. The Ghost's Game of Football. Once, long ago, a poor lad named Sean was on the road looking for service when he came upon a farmer's house. Very near the house stood an old castle, black and dreary. God save all here, said Sean, when he was let inside the door. God save you kindly, replied the old farmer. Come to the fire, lad, and let me have a look at you. Sean was only too happy to comply, for it was a terribly cold night. While warming himself by the fire, he gathered up his courage and asked, Could you give me a night's lodging? You're welcome to it, said the farmer. Only you must sleep in a room in the old castle. Be assured, we will have food and a fire and whatever you like to drink. And if we find you alive in the morning, you shall have 10 pounds. You can sleep here, but you have to sleep in our haunted castle. Sure, I'll be alive, said Sean, thinking the farmer was having him on. Don't be too sure, my lad, said the farmer. The place is haunted, and the 6 people who slept there this past year, since my father's death, did not wake. If you can banish the spirits altogether, I'll give you a good farm and my daughter's hand, if you find both to your liking. Ah. No need to say it twice, said Sean, for he had seen the farmer's land and figured the daughter couldn't be that bad. What the F? I've got a good conscience and fear no evil spirit except for old Scratch himself. The farmer got the food and drink ready and showed Sean to the castle. There he bade him good night and Godspeed in such haste that Sean didn't hear the blessing. Sean sat down on the biggest chair in the room and opened his prayer book, saying to himself, If there's any danger, this prayer book will help me more than a tumbler of strong drink. Soon enough, Sean heard a thump, thump, thump from overhead until it came to a hole in the ceiling. Then he heard someone cry, I'll fall, I'll fall. Fall away, said Sean, and down came a pair of legs with no body. Then another crackling and whacking. came to the hole in the ceiling, saying, "I'll fall, I'll fall." Sean again said, "Fall away," and down came a man's body, right on top of the legs. And then came the shoulders, arms, and a head with a cocked hat, and finally a whole man was standing before Sean. Then two more men appeared, each one dressed more old fashioned than the next. Now, before Sean even had a chance to find his courage, the three old gentlemen produced a small ball and began to kick it across the room as fast as they could. Round and round the room it went, the man in the cocked hat playing against the other two. "Fair play is fair play," said Sean, as bold as he could, but the words only came out in a whisper. "If you other gentlemen don't mind, I'll help you, sir." So he joined the game and gave as good as he got, until his shirt was wringing wet with his efforts. Still the ball flew from one end of the room to the other like thunder. Not a word was said between the ghosts, and Sean was too scared to utter a sound. At last the faint glow of dawn's light began to edge into the room, and the ghosts stopped their awful game. Sean collapsed on the chair, and the ghosts gathered around him. "Gentlemen," Sean gasped, for he was very winded, "as the sport is over, and I've done my best to please you, can you tell me what is the reason for your game here night after night?" "We played at life," shrieked one of the ghosts, "and now are doomed to play at sport forever." "Ha! Don't you wish to stay and play with us, lad?" screamed the other ghosts. Sean's eyes grew wide, and the hair on the back of his neck stood straight, and he replied as calmly as possible, "No, sir, you tire me out too much, but is there any way I could hope to give you the rest you deserve?" "Them is the wisest words you ever said in your life," said the ghost in the cocked hat. Some of the six Some of the six who were here before found enough energy to play with us, but at our first words they expired. You're the first with the courage to speak, my lad." The ghost then explained to Sean that they were the father, grandfather, and great-grandfather of the farmer in the house next door. "And from father to son, we were all too fond of money," sobbed the eldest ghost. "We lent it at 10 times interest, never paid a debt we could weasel out of, and starved our tenants. Here we live with all the gold and silver we have accumulated." So saying, he pulled up a drawer in the wall to reveal coins of all kinds. "And here the bills and notes of those we wronged," said the middle ghost as he pulled open a drawer full of papers. Then the ghost with the cocked hat put his cold hand on Sean's shoulder and said, "If my son wishes to avoid our fate and set us free, tell him to saddle 2 of his best horses for himself and you, and to ride night and day till every man and woman we have wronged has been set right. When that is done, we'll be at rest." Just as these words were said, Sean could see the wall through the bodies of the ghosts, for they were fading with the coming of day. A faint noise that sounded like "hurry" was all that hung in the air when sunlight flooded the room. The dawn was followed quickly by the arrival of the farmer and his daughter. They rejoiced at finding Sean alive, but the lad wasted no time on their congratulations. He quickly told the farmer to saddle 2 horses, and while this was being done, showed him the coins and notes. Within an hour, Sean and the farmer were on the road, and so they stayed for 3 days and 3 nights, till not a single wronged person was left without his rightful farthing. Sean took the daughter for his wife, for she was not half bad. They lived comfortably in the castle and were never bothered by spirits, good nor evil. And if ever Sean was tempted to hoard his money or to keep a shilling that was by rights another man's, All he thought of was his game of football with the ghosts. Hey, Sun Mao, it's wonderful to see you. I think of you so often. Welcome, welcome. I really liked that story. Football with ghosts. A ghost game of football. So there's this picture, Cork Castle on the Cork River. Oh, awesome. We're just about at the halfway point here. I'd probably go for about an hour today. All right. Tom Moody. You all knew Tom Moody. The whipper in, well, the bell just done tolling was honest Tom's knell. And more sportsmen near followed a hound through a country well known to him 50 miles around. No hound ever opened with Tom near the wood, but he challenged the tone and can tell if 'twere good. And all with attention would eagerly mark when he cheered up the park, hark to Rockwood, hark, hark, high, wind him and cross him, now Rattler boy, hark. 6 crafty earth stoppers in hunter's green dressed supported poor Tom to an earth made for rest. His horse, which he styled his old saled next appeared, on whose forehead the brush of the last fox was reared. Whip, cap, boots, and spurs in a trophy were bound, and here and there followed an old straggling hound. Ah, no more at his voice young vales will they trace. Now the welking resound to the burst in the chase. With high over, now press him, tally ho, tally ho. Thus Tom spoke his friends ere he gave up his breath, since I see you resolve to be in at the death. One favor bestow, 'tis the last I shall crave. Give a rattling view hollow thrice over my grave. And unless at that warning I lift up my head, my boys, you may fairly conclude I am dead. Honest Tom was obeyed, and the shout rent the sky. For every voice joined in that tally-ho cry. Tally-ho, hark forward, tally-ho, tally-ho. That was an interesting rhyme scheme. Tom Moody. I love you, son. To my bicycle, it says. In the airy whirling wheel is the spring strength of steel, and the sinew grows to steel day by day, till you feel your pulses leap at the easy swing and sweep, as the hedges flicker past upon their way. Then it's out to the kiss of morning breeze, and the rose of the morning sky, and the long brown road where the tired spirits load slips off as the leagues go by. Black and silver, swift and strong, with a pleasant undersong, from the steady rippling of the chain. Half a thing of life and will, you may feel it start and thrill, with a quick elastic answer to the strain. As you ride to the kiss of the morning breeze, and the rose of the morning sky, and the long brown road where the tired spirits load slips off as the leagues go by. Miles 100 you may run from the rising of the sun to the gleam of the first white star. You may ride through 20 towns, meet the sun upon the downs, or the wind on the mountain scar. Then it's out to the kiss of the morning breeze, and the rose of the morning sky, and the long brown road where the tired spirits load slips off as the leagues go by. Down the pleasant countryside, through the woodland's summer pride. You have come in from your forenoon spin. Forenoon. You have come in from your forenoon spin. And you never would have guessed how delicious is the rest in the shade by the wayside inn. When you have sought the kiss of the morning breeze and the rose of the morning sky and the long brown road where the tired spirit's load slips off as the leagues go by. There is many of one who teaches that the shining river reaches are the place to spend a long June day. But give me the whirling wheel of a boat of air and steel to float on the king's highway. Oh, give me the kiss of the morning breeze and the rose of the morning sky and the long brown road where the tired spirit's load slips off as the leagues go by. By Thomas W. Hazen Rolston. I love it, and I love riding my bike. That was awesome. And I live next to a couple of really awesome bike shops. I feel like I should go in there and like read this to Eric. I don't know if he likes poetry, but he sure likes bikes and fixing them and riding them. Cool. I like that. Don't forget the moon. Yes, never forget the moon, right? Yeah, dude. It's crazy how fast things go. This whole weekend, we're going to have our moon in Pisces. Feels, right? The feels. I think that's what that means. It's like feels. Okay. Hurling, the great Irish pastime. Hurling is often considered the national sport of Ireland. A cross between field hockey, soccer, and general mayhem, the game is played with wooden sticks that are shaped like broad scythes and a ball about the same size and consistency as a baseball. The object is to send the ball into a goal or through the uprights. However, if neither of these outcomes are possible, then simply injuring as many opposing team members as possible is acceptable. Oh, shit, dude, that's funny. And I mean, dangerous. Okay. The tradition of hurling matches, pitting county against county and town against town, is centuries old. Such matches were once considered high festivals. The prettiest girl in the village was chosen as the hurling queen. Dressed in a white gown that was passed on from queen to queen, the girl led a procession of young women, pipers, and fiddlers to the hurling field. There they were met by a procession of the young men from the village, led by the chief hurler, who was always a well-formed youth, at least 6 feet tall. Then the chief hurler and the hurling queen would join hands and begin to dance amid the cheers of the crowd. After the opening of the hurling, the match would immediately commence, and all thoughts of festivities would end as the teams got down to the serious business of beating up on each other. The matches were extraordinarily violent. Some were known to have lasted for days and to spread across the countryside, with one side following the ball into another county. Once the match had finished, the festival began again with a great supper of food, drink, and dancing. This, of course, was followed by much romance and later by many marriages between the young people of the neighboring villages. Thus did hurling help ensure that villages would never make actual war upon each other. Full circle. So then we get into a story. So I think maybe that was like the wind up so that we understand what hurling is. I mean, we are talking about sports, right? That's what this chapter is after. So this is called the Hurling Match. Those fairies, with all their love of gentility and the creative side of life, really dislike anything of a violent or rough nature. They particularly abhor athletic events, such as hurling and even wrestling. Oh, hey, before I turn the page here and get back more into that, this says farmland along the coast of Mizzen, West Cork. Oh, yeah, look at my nails. Ooh. Cool. Okay, so they abhor athletic events such as hurling and even wrestling. Many times, they attempt to end these games by some evil turn. The fairies can be quite selfish at times, or they would not interfere with Ireland's national sport. One day, far down the coast of Clare, a great tournament was being played between two neighboring villages. The prettiest girl of the host town, Bridget O'Mara, was already chosen as the hurling girl. The Colleen Balia, Colleen, I think that just means pretty, right? Kalina Balia, dressed all in white. Bridget and her friends were parading to the hurling ground to preside over the match, accompanied by all the pipers and fiddlers from near and far, playing lively tunes. Little known to the festive throng that had gathered, a troop of the fairies, were on the march from one fairy hill to the next. Their route would pass directly by the playing area. The girls reached the field and were met by a procession of young men surrounding the chief hurler. Tomfinnegan, by name, a lad who stood more than 6 feet tall. Not only was Tom a grand player, he was also the champion fiddler for the entire valley. As was custom, handsome Tom and beautiful Bridget held hands and began to dance, for this was how the matches began in those days, and those in attendance joined in. After the dancing, the players ran to the field with loud shouts and shrieking of their hurling sticks at each other. Just as play was reaching its best, a great cloud of rolling dust roared along the road. The dust stopped the game. As the players and the spectators grew alarmed at the sight, "Ah, the fairies are out a hunting, and most certainly will blind us if we continue playing," they all said. As the frightened people spoke, they pointed at the towering dust cloud that blotted out the sun and hid the tops of the closest mountains. Thousands of fairies trooped past, though no eye of man, nor woman, nor elder, nor child could be seen. So wait, we're really talking about eclipses here, right? And they're right, so fairies, eclipses, just the workings of our worlds. Interesting. Tomfinnegan, a brave fellow and true, as well as a dazzling hurler, leapt up as the fairies swirled along the road. Finnegan, a fiddler of no small renown, dashed off to get his instrument and began to play his exciting tunes. I'll get the fairies to forget about us because they will prefer to dance and make music. Soon they'll be off to their own place to bring out their pipes and their fiddles, said Tom. Then Bridget let her handmaidens in wonderful song. Then Bridget led her handmaidens in wonderful song, and their pure voices touched the sky, causing the sun to spin. It was so happy. With that, the whirlwind swept up the road to the fairy hill on the far side of the mountain. At last, the hurling pitch was cleared, and the play resumed safely. Everyone applauded Tom for his quick thinking, and he went on to score many points in the game. Of course, he and Bridget were blessed by the fairies for presenting their fine music and for their quick thinking that day, both being traits appreciated by the she. As a gift, the fairies led the couple into love and blessed their resulting marriage. Never again did the fairies disrupt the hurling match whenever Tom played, and his bride, the lovely Bridget, was in attendance. I like that one. That was nice. Yeah, it does go beyond the words. Mm-hmm. Fiddler on the Roof. Hmm. So this one's called Finicky Fish. I always like that word, finicky. An American visitor was anxious to sample the fighting abilities of the wild Irish trout. He brought his prize fly rod and picked his best trout flies. He booked a room at a farm along the River Suir. Sorry for pronunciations, everyone. I apologize, rather. One of Ireland's best fishing waterways. The Yank carefully studied the river's riffles and pools to learn where the trout lived. Then he waited for dusk, for the trout would only rise with the coming of the moon. Is that true? Huh. Careful planning paid off. He heard the splash of a rising trout, and he tried his best to fly fish. It bobbed merrily along the water, but not a fish looked at it. He tried other flies, no bites. He went to the pools and cast again. Still no trout expressed anything but disdain for his flies. He returned the next night again, and again not a bite. Even the wonders of the fresh outdoors and the magical hills of Ireland were losing their allure. But being a fisherman means that every tomorrow is a new day. So the American was back out on the river on his last night. He was almost at the point of resorting. Excuse me. He was almost at the point of resorting to prayer when an elderly lady with a long pole appeared on the other side of the river. Much luck? She asked. Nothing, the American grumbled. I don't think these are even trout. They won't bite on anything. And what are you using? Asked the old woman. The American named all of his flies: the blue dun, the royal coachman, the olive-winged mayfly. In desperation, he even tried an old mosquito fly. With this, the woman burst into laughter. Sure, those are American bugs, she said. These fishes never seen a mosquito. Just like most folks around here, they're a bit thick-headed. They only know Irish bugs. And she cast an old piece of string into the water. On its end was tied a bit of clear fishing line and a small black gnat. A 15-inch trout rose and took it up in an instant. As the elderly lady pulled in her trophy, the American swore he'd never fish again until his next trip to Ireland. There's a picture here. The cottage by the water in Connemara. Oh my gosh, it's so beautiful. I love it. Cool. Ooh, stretch. Okay. So, the next one, it's tiny. A hunting tale. Scotsman took a young visitor from America hunting for geese on the marsh. But the fog was so thick that morning, they couldn't see the end of the gun. It was frustrating because they could hear the geese honking and rising and flying about over their heads. The mist, however, hid the birds from view. The Scotsman thought it would be a shame for the young man to return home without having fired a shot, so he told him to fire a blind shot into the fog the next time they heard the geese rise and honk. The young man did as he was told, and a fox fell out of the sky. At a loss to explain this odd happening, the quick-witted Scot told his friend that the fog was so thick the fox was walking on it to reach the geese. That's the end of the story. We don't get any more. Interesting. I just want because you like the way foxes, the way they attack their prey, they like hop into the air and like attack from top, from the sky. I don't know. It's just nuts the way they do that. It's like a sneak attack. Awesome. Thank you. I'm so glad you're here. It's so good. Thank you, son. Race day. They had a good reason to hence where it's located. All right, race day. Let me get another drink here. The cross carried its message across the winding path down from the steeple, where not many really listened, because it was race day at Ferry House. All the Meath men were battling, heavy coins in stained hands, placing their hopes on Dugan's little mare. No need for church bells today. Yet the way the race ended, there should have been more prayers. From the congregation, rain-soaked, the gelding named Joseph won. That was it. By Martin Russell. Let me see. I'm going to do that again. The cross carried its message... Bollocks. Race day. The cross carried its message across the winding path down from the steeple, where not many really listened, because it was race day at Ferry House. All the Meath men were battling. Oh, no. There we go. All the Meath men were betting, heavy coins in stained hands, placing their hopes on Dugan's little mare. No need for church bells today. Yet the way the race ended, there should have been more prayers. From the congregation, rain-soaked, the gelding named Joseph won. So yeah, a betting. Okay, got it. That word, that was key. Tam, awesome. Welcome. North Alabama. Awesome. Cool. So now we're into chapter 5. This says blessings, faith, and a bit of good luck. And then this is the picture. I can't see it. Saying right. Whew. So yeah, blessings, faith, and a bit of good luck. There's music in the Irish names: Kilkenny, Tipperary. There's beauty in the countryside, from Cork to Londonderry. And whoever makes his earthly home close to the Irish sod has found a bit of heaven and walks hand in hand with God. Ha! Oh, that was nice. Irish blessing. Oh, man. Stretching my hip. Oh! Very good. That felt awesome. Shoot, man. Oh, yeah. Okay. This one's titled The Priest's Soul. In the olden days, there were great schools in Ireland where every sort of learning was taught to all the people. Even the poorest person in the land knew more than many of the so-called scholars of today. It's true, I think. At the time, there was one boy named Michael, whose cleverness was a wonder to behold. Even his teachers were put to shame, for he knew his grammar and figures better than they, and he wasn't shy to show it. Michael's greatest pleasure was in argument. He would go on and on till he proved to you that black was white. But if you gave in, then he would turn it all around and convince you that white was black, or that there was no such thing as a color in the world. For a man like Michael, with such learning and argument to him, there was only one fit occupation: a priest. There were no real teachers back then. The priest taught the people, and Michael was a natural schoolmaster. As he proved himself to be the cleverest priest in Ireland, kings far and wide sent their children to him. Soon enough, Michael grew very proud and forgot his beginnings in a lowly peasant's cottage. He forgot his friends and his family. And worse yet, he forgot God, who had made him what he was. Michael loved only himself and his argument, and the pride of arguing got so hold of him, he proved there was no purgatory, then no hell, no heaven, and finally no God. At last, Michael proved that men had no souls at all, and they were no more than a cow or a dog or a worm, and that when they died, that was the end. Who has seen any man's soul? Michael asked. Show me one, and I'll believe. No one could dispute him, and gradually all began to believe as Michael did. And since there was no heaven nor hell, nor an eternal soul to worry oneself about, everyone did as he or she pleased. In this way did Michael's teachings spread across the land. Now the whole world was turning bad, so an angel came down from heaven and visited a very surprised Michael. For the priest had also proved that there were no such things as angels. Ha ha! You have 1 day to live, Father Michael, said the angel. Prepare yourself. Michael began to tremble and asked, Can I have a little more time? What do you need more time for, you sinner? Retorted the angel. Oh, sir, have pity on my poor soul, said the priest. Oh, you have a soul then, the angel said mockingly. When did you discover this? It has been fluttering about my stomach ever since you appeared, said Michael. I don't know why I never noticed it before. Indeed, said the angel, what good was all your learning if it could not tell you that you have a soul? This is powerful. I freaking love this. Michael bowed to the angel and asked, Ah, good sir, now that I know I have a soul, please kindly tell me how soon I may be in heaven. Never, said the angel. You denied there was a heaven. Well then, said Michael, a little perturbed, may I at least go to purgatory? You have denied purgatory as well. You must go straight to hell, was the angel's strict reply. But then Michael smiled, for he was on his ground now. Even if he was arguing with an angel. But, my lord, I denied hell, too, so you can't send me there either. The angel looked a little puzzled and took some time before he answered. Then he replied, Well now, this is what I can do. You may live for another 100 years and enjoy every kind of pleasure, and then be cast into hell forever. Or you may die in 24 hours and go to purgatory to remain until the day of judgment. But if you wish to enter heaven, you must find one person here who still believes in God. You will still die tomorrow, but through that belief, your soul will be saved. I mean, I'm loving this story, but like all this idea of like ultimatums and like someone telling you, anyways, this is still right. We're learning things. Okay. Michael took less than a minute to make up his mind, for now he knew he had a soul and didn't want to lose it to the devil. I will have death in 24 hours and take my chances with heaven or purgatory. Oh, there's a picture there. I'll show you, and then I'll take a drink. Hey, thanks. Thank you, Tam Tam. Thanks for being here. I stumble a lot, though, but I do love reading. Okay, so wait, I had just turned the page. Okay. The angel left him, and Michael ran to the school where all his scholars and students were sitting about, disputing one thing or the other. Michael called out to them, Now, tell me the truth, and do not fear that I will contradict you. What are your beliefs? Do men have souls? Father Michael, they answered, one after another, we once believed in men's souls, but you have proved it otherwise. We believe no longer, and neither do we believe in hell or heaven or God. Thus is our belief, for it is what you taught us. Then Michael grew pale and cried, I taught you a lie. There's a God, and we have immortal souls. The shouts of laughter drowned out Michael's voice, for they thought he was only trying to provoke an argument. Prove it, Father, one of the students shouted. Who has ever seen God? Who has ever seen a soul? The laughter grew louder, and Michael could think of no answer to the question. All his eloquence and learning, all his arguments were worthless now. He could do nothing but wring his hands and say to his students, There is a God, there is a soul, and may the Lord have mercy on my poor soul. The students and scholars all began to mock him, repeating his words. Show him to us. Show us your God, they demanded. Michael ran from them in torment, for he saw that none believed and that his soul would not be saved. In despair, he went about the country and asked everyone the same two questions. Do you believe in men's souls? Do you believe in God? But the same answer came from one and all. We believe what you have proved. There are no such things in this world. Then Michael became half mad with fear and threw himself on the ground in a lonely place on the road. The hours were passing by, and he knew that he would die soon and face eternity alone. Just as his last hour had begun, a small child came by the road. God save you kindly, said the child to Michael. Michael bolted straight up and looked the boy in the eye. Child, do you believe in God? He asked. I have come a long way to learn about him, said the child. Can you direct me to the finest school in this land? Michael's pride escaped once more, and he said, Why, the best school and teachers are close by at Father Michael's. Oh, not that man, the child frowned. I am told that he denies God and heaven and hell, and even men's souls, because we can't see them. It is so, said Michael sadly. I would soon put a stop to such nonsense, said the child. How? Michael asked in earnest, for his time was drawing to a close. The child screwed up his face and said, I would ask him if he believed he had a life, then he should show me his life. He could not do that, said the priest, for life itself is invisible. We have it, but we can't see it or touch it. So if we have life, but cannot see it, then we may also have a soul, even though that too is invisible, answered the child. When Michael heard these words, he fell to his knees, weeping with joy, for he knew that his soul was saved. At last, he had met one person who still believed. Before he died, he told the child his story and commanded that the child should tell the others to believe. Then he laid down and peacefully breathed his last. And wonder of wonders, with Michael's last breath, the child saw a beautiful living creature with snow-white wings mount from Michael's body and flutter around. The child ran to the school and brought back all the students and scholars and everyone from near and far. When they saw the creature, all believed that it was the soul of their teacher, and they watched with awe as it passed from their sight into the clouds of heaven. It was the first butterfly seen in Ireland. And now all know that the butterflies are the souls of the dead, waiting for the moment they may enter heaven. But the scholars of Ireland were deserted after this. For what was the use of learning from the wisest man in the country if he did not know that he had a soul and was saved only by the simple belief of a child? I loved that. I freaking love that. Dang. Ooh, this one's called The Evil Eye. The Evil Eye. I have those right now. And then obviously these ones too, right? I'm so pumped about my nails. Oh, what time is it? Okay, we're good. We're good. Oh, right. Yeah. The Evil Eye. Okay. If you are caught gazing at any person or thing while in Ireland, be sure to say, God bless. For you may be accused of giving the dreaded evil eye to the object of your gaze. Or if someone gives you the evil eye, use this prayer that St. Bridget wrote and hid in her hair for such an occasion. If fairy man or woman hath o'er if fairy man or woman hath overlooked ye, remember there are three greater in heaven who will cast all evil into the great and terrible sea. Amen. If fairy man or woman hath overlooked ye, remember there are three greater in heaven who will cast all evil into the great and terrific sea. Amen. I don't know. Right. I'm not. That is what it says. I'm just saying. I don't know how I feel about that. Okay. To tell the truth, amid the ruins of a monastery on one of the many islands dotting Ireland's western shores lies an ancient black marble flagstone. The monks who lived there hundreds of years ago gave the stone the power of the Cremav, or the swearing stone. From around the country, anyone suspected of a sin or crime was brought before the stone to testify to his or her actions. Even today, there are those who believe that if the accused swears falsely, the stone has the power to set a mark upon the face. If no mark appears, the person is innocent. One time, a murder had been committed near the island. Near the island. The neighbor suspected one man, but did not have proof. This did not stop them from going to the man's cottage, binding him, and taking him before the swearing stone. The people said, if he is innocent, the Cremave will declare him, or will clear him. If he is guilty, let him suffer for his crimes. The man appeared before the stone with his accusers. There they were met by a priest who said, speak the truth before your friends and before the face of God. The man laid his hand upon the stone and swore that he was innocent. Instantly, his right arm shriveled up, and he fainted straight away. The stone had enacted its punishment, and the man lived as a miserable cripple to the end of his days. The people took no more actions against him, for they knew that the stone would visit enough suffering on the man and his family. A few weeks later, a daughter was born to the man and his wife. On her brow, she bore the imprint of a bloody hand. This stayed with her for the rest of her life, and every one of the murderer's descendants had a similar mark until the seventh generation, which was born clean of the man's guilt and perjury. That stuff is so interesting to me. Plus, I don't know, right? It's like you think about the way people have decided people's fates, and then what are we allowing people to decide our fates? I don't know. It's I don't know, right? I watched this when I was getting my nails done yesterday. I watched a movie. I watched The Labyrinth. I love that movie. I hadn't seen it in a long time. And then after that, Ashley put this show on that was on Netflix, and it was this true story, or I don't know. That's what they said. It's still entertainment, right? But it was about Helltown, which is right near here. It's Blue Hen Falls, Boston Mills, Ohio. It's one of my favorite. It's my favorite hiking place here. But I'm like, actually, I want to find some new places. But I love it there. There's 2 waterfalls along it, and it goes right to Boston Mills Resort, which is what is it? It's like a ski resort. Well, apparently there's this like Wendigo that lives out there and stuff. And there was this whole show about it. Some people that had got murdered in 75, and then again, like these people that were like I think it was like 2018. These teens went out there, and one of them died, and the other kids don't talk about it now. And it's been this has happened like a lot. Okay, so why was I even telling about this? I don't remember. Oh yeah, because of this story and why people do the things that they do. There was like this occult group that would take goats, and they would take goats out there as and leave them as sacrifices. They would do these prayers for the Wendigo. And there's kids that went missing, and there was even this one kid that was a part of the interview. He's older now. This happened back in the 70s, where they saw the goat there, and then they heard all these crazy noises. They got out of there. Well, the other 2 kids went back to investigate, and they were never seen again. And they ended up finding these people that were sacrificing the goat to appease this Wendigo, or this supernatural entity that was roaming the forest. And there are actually also ancient stones in Boston, Ohio, or it's called Helltown too, Boston Mills now, that are just stones that have W's carved into them, where like the people, the settlers that were there before, they would mark where there were Wendigo sightings to steer clear of the area. Well, these people who did this ritual and stuff, after the kid, they had to go and make a police report because his friends were missing. I just lost my train of thought. Mother of pearls. The Wendigo, the kids, the report. Oh yeah, they decide to go find this occult group to stop them from. Oh shit, are we good? No, I think I still have my place. To stop this cult from the sacrificing of and they thought that they were the ones that killed the kids. Well, they did that, and like then activity starts to pick up after they stop doing these sacrifices. So I guess I'm getting at right now is that, like, as I was reading this and I'm thinking about this stone deciding this guy's fate, I'm feeling like, dude, that's so jacked up. It's like, like witches, if they're guilty, what is it? Wait, they'll float, like I don't know, you sink or you float or something like that. And it's just like, I don't know. But then you think too, what about these other energies in the world that we don't know about, the reasons that people do things? And I'm not trying to say that like I condone sacrifice. That's not what I'm saying at all. I'm not actually saying one way or the other. I don't really know, I just know that things are different sometimes and of different times, and our thoughts and perception creates our worlds. It's interesting. Also, one more thing about that whole Wendigo documentary, whatever it was, the show. The guy, I don't know who he was, but he was some professor in Ohio. They're presenting him as like some sort of authority figure or something. And he's saying that he lives in Ohio, and he pronounces the town that he says that he's in, that he's teaching from. He's a professor or something. I'm not saying, he pronounces it wrong. He says Cuyahoga. That's not how you say that word. So like right off the rip, well, my sister had put this on and we were watching it. She was finishing, she's hand painting my nails. I just immediately felt like, dude, I realize that this is a whole program that I'm watching now, and that it's really just a show and everything. But like, this guy just said that he's from Cuyahoga. Okay, it's Cuyahoga. You say Cuyahoga. If he's from here, there's no way that he's saying it like that. He's a professor. He's saying Cuyahoga. It feels so uncredible to me. I don't like it. I like that. It made me think of Lady and the Tramp too. The dogs with the spaghetti, they get to the noses. Oh, it's been an hour and 30 minutes. Holy crumoles. Oh, did I show you this picture? A 12th century friary. Cool, friary. A 12th century friary in County Roscommon. Right, Tam Tam? I feel that. How long is this? Is little. Let me see. Let's see how many are left in this. It doesn't really matter. I love how they're all such little stories, right? Okay, well, I'll do the perfect nest and then maybe I'll call it. We'll see what shakes. The perfect nest. There is a little hollowed place in the cliffs that rise above the upper lakes at Glendalow. There's a and Wicklow. Oh, we learned what Wicklow means. Viking Valley. Viking something. Yeah. All right. There is a little hollowed place in the cliffs that rise above the upper lakes at Glendalow in the Wicklow Mountains. This is St. Kevin's Cell, where the famous saint would remove himself from the world during Lent. The cell was so small that when Kevin praised God every morning, he had to stick one arm out the window. Kevin was at such prayer one day when his arm stretched outside when a blackbird landed on his hand. The bird settled herself, and since St. Kevin liked a little animal company, he went on with his prayers. The bird found his hand so warm and comfortable, she thought it was a nest. So she laid an egg in Kevin's open hand. What should a good saint do in such a predicament? He remained kneeling, and his arm extended, and his hand opened until the egg hatched and the fledgling could fly. I freaking love that. That's crazy. This is St. Kevin's Church, 11th century. We'll get it. Here we go. Sometimes it's so crazy now that like I've been around like using electronics for years now. But thank God I still have my pre-electronic days. Sometimes when I see pictures in books, I'll find myself going like this. I'm like, oh, I want to see more. I didn't do it just now, but I thought about, I'm going to open that. I want to see closer. I want to see a statue with a saint holding an egg. That's like, yeah. Historical cheapskates. The title's too good. I have to go in. I have to go in for it. In its early years, Ireland was dotted with monasteries. During the Dark Ages, these remote abbeys served as places where learning and worship survived. But they were not immune from the ravages of warfare. Once the Vikings discovered that the abbeys possessed gold and silver, they became ripe targets for looting. To protect themselves from the Vikings' threat, the abbots constructed hundreds of high, round towers. The towers each had one entrance, about 25 feet off the ground. When the monks were warned of an approaching war party, they gathered themselves and their treasures into the tower, scampering up the rope ladder. Then they pulled the ladder up after them. The round towers were among the few buildings from what the era still standing enact. Wait. I didn't understand that. Round towers are among the few buildings from that era still standing intact. But at the famous monastery of Clonmacnoise in County Offaly, Offaly. One of the two round towers is only half complete. The story goes that one day Owen, the mason, had almost completed his work and was at the top of the tower when the monks called up to him. Owen, the monk shouted up, "Your prices are too high, dear. The poor abbey can't afford to pay you." "Holy fathers," Owen shouted down, "my prices are what they are, and your abbey has more money than the county has cows. If you want to lower your fee, then you shan't come down either." The abbot said. Then the monks began to remove the scaffolding. Owen was stuck up in the incompleted tower for a day and a night. In the morning, he called for the abbot. "Father," said Owen calmly, "I have an idea. It is easier to pull down than to build up." With that, Owen began to cast down stone upon stone. In that way, he could work his way safely to the ground. It's smart. With stones landing all around them, the monks grew alarmed. They prayed for Owen to desist and told him that his price would be paid. They rebuilt the scaffolding, and Owen came down, but he refused to lay his hands on the work again. And once the story got around about how the abbey paid its bills, the tower remained unfinished. Shiesty priests. That's good. Have a great day, son. Thanks for being here. I'm about to wrap it up too. Yeah, actually, I think I am. I'm going to wrap it up right here. And then we'll start with St. Patrick's Defeats the Druids next time. That title sort of irritates me. Triggers me a little. But yeah, you guys, all thank you so much for being here with me for the hangout. I mean, like, this is the most casual book reading I don't know. I never came across one like this. Oh my gosh. Tam, son, everyone who came through. I love you guys. And yeah, let's have some awesome Thursdays and Fridays. I'm gonna do it. I love you guys. And I'll see you very soon. I know I will. Thank you.